There are some moments that haunt us all our lives. Moments upon which history turns.
Well, hello, my friend.
What is this? What have you done?
Welcome to the road not taken.
Do you have any idea what's happening here? Reality has been broken.
There is a divergence. I know someone who could help us understand the change in time.
I'm gonna need some tea.
Oh yeah.
Earl Grey, piping hot.
Hello, Guinan.
Your answers are not in the stars, and they never have been.
Earth 2024.
Oh,
A single
Okay.
change is vastly more dangerous than you realize. None of our tomorrows are guaranteed. You're gonna have to let go.
We're stronger together. You must bring us home.
This is a very bumpy century. But I think I'm getting the hang of it.
I believe you have one final frontier yet to come.
Wow.
That was pretty cool, eh?
Yeah. That was pretty amazing. Welcome back to tobeseen.com. This is Trailer Chat, the now known as Trailer Fiend. And if you notice, I'm not with Billy today. I'm with my dude Jazz, all the way from PCS Pop Culture Spread down in Australia. Welcome, Chad.
Hey, how are you?
How are you, my dude?
Oh, great. Really good. A lot better after seeing that
Right?
trailer.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, thanks for having me on the show, mate.
Hey, thanks for coming on.
Billy's gone missing. I may have him in a suitcase somewhere. I've actually imported him over and I'm hiding him just so I could get on here with you.
Yeah. The sharks.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Wow, mate. I'm honestly, there's some really great visuals out of that trailer, isn't there?
Yeah.
Raises a lot of questions.
Oh yeah. What stood out to me most is, and I might have talked to you about this before, is we're seeing the return of Guinan, especially knowing that there's a history between and seeing the return of Q.
Is to expedite her departure. You know him?
We have had some dealings.
Those dealings were 2 centuries ago. This creature is not what she appears to be. She's an imp, and where she goes, trouble always follows.
You're speaking of yourself, Q, not Guinan.
Yeah.
Because the first time that Guinan and Q met, she had this.
Enough about this creature. She's diverting us from the purpose of my being here.
So we
Yes.
never got an answer to that.
No. Was that yesterday's Enterprise? Yeah, I think that was one of the great episodes.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. This look, I might preface it to say I generally liked Picard season 1.
I did
I
too.
did have some issues with it. I found it very jarring to kind of get into the first couple episodes, but I thought the payoff was really good. I thought the show as it went along got better and better and better.
Right.
So certainly, and can we talk spoilers from that first season?
Absolutely. Because I mean, if you haven't seen it now, come on, what are you waiting?
Yeah, why are you watching this trailer?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we got a synthetic Picard, correct?
Correct. This is not the same Picard. He is gone.
Yeah, he is gone. So, which raises that question: the environment that he is in, that is a different dimension. Is it a whole kind of? Is it an illusion? Is it just a giant?
I think from the scenes that I've watched, and I'm, cat's out of the bag. I'm a huge Star Trek fan. It's one of my favorite. One of my favorite science fiction genres ever. Yeah. Right up there with Doctor Who and Star Wars.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that I was doing was rewatching the original Star Trek, the movie series, and that's with Captain Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
And the fourth movie for time travel, they did a piggyback off the sun. They went into the sun's rotation, spun around the sun, and it shot them back in time. So I'm wondering if they're doing that type of throwback sort of nod to the original movies and Captain Kirk's adventures. And I'm wondering if Q has gone and made a change, because there is a scene where Q and it's the son that from the first season of Picard, Q's passing him something. Now, what is it? What is he giving him? And especially him, because he's a cybernetist, and he's got the most advanced cybernetics, because you can't tell the difference between them and a human.
Correct.
They're not super strong. They have abilities, you know.
Yeah.
But they are within the linear lifetime of a human person. So they don't last. I think Data was supposed to last 124 years or something like that. If he was unaltered.
Yeah. No, that didn't happen, mate. The last time we saw him, he was he blew up, didn't he?
Blew up.
He flew up. He flew over to that ship and blew up.
Yeah. Yeah.
The much maligned Nemesis.
Oh, I still love Nemesis, man.
Yeah, I do. I just wish someone who knew Star Trek made that film.
Yeah.
That was the only problem. The person who made it, Stuart Baird, didn't have any knowledge, prior knowledge, or really interest in the Star Trek franchise. But we're talking about this trailer. Yep. I think this feels like this season is a sequel or a continuation of the Encounter at Farpoint, All Good Things timeline, where humanity is still being judged.
Yeah,
at this point, and Q is back, and this is maybe the third and final test.
Maybe.
And I feel like what Guinan said, that she goes, it's not about what's out there; it's about, I think, what's within.
Right.
So I really think, in a way, that this season looks like a continuation of that storyline of Q judging humanity.
Oh, that's a good catch, and I think that's going to be a big part of this season, especially. And seeing the Borg, because, you know, as you know, Q is
Queen Borg.
Queen Borg, Borg Queen.
Is that the same one we know?
No, it's not the same woman from the first Contact. It's not her. It's a different actress.
Because, you know, when I remember first watching the series, you know, one of the things that terrified me most about the Borg was the fact that they were this unilateral kind of structure system where there was no, you know, it's probably the most pure version of communism there is. There is no leader. There's just
everybody is.
But then they introduced the Queen Borg, to much extent in First Contact, which I thought was wonderful.
It was one of the best. Yeah.
But does that mean now there's a whole different level of all these Queen Borgs? Does that mean there's someone?
I think that's what
above that as well.
No, I don't. Maybe there's an ultimate queen somewhere, but
you feel like there'd have to be a leader at some sort now if they're doing that.
Right. But it looks like they just replaced the queens. It's like like Jerry. I don't know. I really never got into Voyager, even though I did watch the series. Because you know, I was super disappointed that it didn't come back out the way they went out through Deep Space Nine. That always irritated me. You know, it
felt very rushed, that last episode.
Yeah, it did. It really did. It really.
The name Endgame, mind you, it was called Endgame.
Yes, that's right. That's right. The Endgame episode.
But, you know, I love if you're going to have Q come back, like you kind of mentioned, you've got to have Guinan, don't you? Because they are the yin and the yang in many ways, around that kind of omnipotent, godlike creatures that we've been introduced into Next Generation. They were the kind of counterbalance for each other.
But the interesting thing with Guinan is she doesn't have any powers like Hugh did. Like Hugh is omnipotent; he can snap his fingers, and now you're in front of a Borg, or now your whole ship is in Sherwood Forest, excuse me, and but we never knew, and Q always had this beef with her, so we never knew where that came from, what's beyond it, and what is the catalyst of it. So
and why would he be if she doesn't have powers? Why would he be afraid of her?
Exactly. And I'm
why
wondering,
is that?
Is that something to do with the Nexus?
Yes, you're right on the money. I'm going to go right back to Generations. The Nexus. She was able to move in and out of that pretty freely, didn't she?
Yeah.
So she must have something about her, I reckon.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, look, it looks like what they're doing to me is, I think, trying to correct some of the things they got criticisms to the first season. And I think they're really going for a very pure Star Trek story here. Time travel, as you know, in Star Trek, is a very common thing that they seem to do. Some of the best Star Trek episodes do involve time travel. We have time travel in obviously in episode 4. We have a version of it in Generations. We definitely have a version of it in First Contact.
We had one in Deep
Star
Space
Trek,
Nine.
the JJ, yeah, Deep Space Nine, the JJ version of Star Trek
is a whole time travel. Yeah,
there's a whole time travel. So it is a very familiar kind of plot structure they kind of go with. But I always love it. And I love the fact that he's gone back to 2254, was it?
Yeah.
Okay, so the original series of Star Trek was set from 2265 to 2269.
Oh.
So we're talking what?
Years.
Decade beforehand.
Yeah.
That he goes back to. If that was right, if it's 2254, that puts it 10 years between, but which makes it in the Discovery period, if I'm correct.
Right.
Not the current Discovery, which is
no, because they jumped into the future, right?
Yeah. No, this one where it's kind of starts from. So that makes it interesting. Could we potentially see a tie-in with Strange New Worlds, perhaps? Is that
Strange New Worlds, or we could see a tie-in with Discovery itself, since they did some type of hiatus because they haven't put out a new episode in a bit.
No, they've obviously been hit like a lot of people with the COVID issues. So
yeah,
no, that's really, really kind of interesting, isn't it?
Yeah,
that they're going back to that time period. And you know what? The other thing I can't get away is those kind of hexagon shapes that seem to be around the planet.
Yeah, it looks like it's a shield. I wonder if when maybe there's something to do with original First Contact, because if you notice that Vulcan mind meld that human kid.
Yeah.
So maybe First Contact got screwed up somehow. And Earth found out about aliens that way, and we're more of a MAGA type Earth, and said, no, we can't even deal with our neighbors to the south of us. We're not going to have aliens now. Let's bombard the planet with a shield and prevent any other aliens from coming. So maybe that's the point of that.
By saying that, you really raise an interesting point with Star Trek as general moving forward with the new content, and that is the Star Trek that we kind of grew up with. The future's about hope.
Right.
In that we can look forward to a future where there's no more hunger. There's definitely no more racism. Wars have ended. It's all humanity is combined in the endeavor of exploring and learning more.
Right.
But I feel with this current Star Trek, we are kind of getting into dealing with, no, the universe is not perfect going forward.
Right.
We have issues. On the surface, it looks great. But underneath it, we've still got problems. There's still those who have and those who have not. There's still violence. There's still threats out there.
Yeah.
How do you think about the franchise itself? It's something like Picard, which did season 1, going into more that heady kind of stuff and establishing it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I really dig it because you've got, as he said, the road not taken. This could be the antecedent to the hopeful discovery of everything that is space and beyond what we know as human beings. This could be, hey, all the alien races out there could be freaking dangerous because look what they did to this little boy. And, they've set up this militarized timeline. And in doing so, the Starship Enterprise, if you look at it, the Starship Enterprise in the painting, the D, one of my favorite starships of all time when it comes
Galaxy class.
Yeah, the Galaxy class. Unbelievable. Chef's kiss indeed. But if you look closely at that painting, that's not the D you and I grew up on.
That's a modified version.
Yeah.
Quite a lot.
So I'm wondering
in fact,
if
I'd have to see it
ship.
again, but is it that version, with the third cell?
No, it doesn't have the third in the cell, but it definitely looks more militarized.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that this is that universe where Tasha Yar lived, and I'm wondering if she
Yesterday's Enterprise again.
Yeah, Yesterday's Enterprise, and I'm wondering if she'll make a cameo.
Oh, I would love that. I would
That would
love
be
to
great.
see her back. She just jumped at the wrong moment, that poor lady.
She sure did. It's like Terry
She just
Farrell.
waited one more year. She would never have left the show.
No, because it became such a huge success. Just bad.
Well, I
timing.
think what worked back then, though, her leaving allowed Worf to become the chief security, and it gave him an opportunity to develop him as more of a interesting character.
Guinan's bar has the number 10 over it.
Oh, okay. I didn't pick that up.
Yeah, I picked that up. I don't know what that is going to correlate to. If the number 10 has a meaning, because that's also the 10 is the basis of code 1 and 0. So I'm wondering if there's some type of connection with that and the Borg. Maybe we're going to find out. It'd be really cool to find out if like Guinan and the Q or whatever Guinan species are and the Q actually created the Borg by mistake. Because, there's always been some like fail. Like if you wanted to get a genesis of the Borg, it's always been, did it come chicken or the egg when they hit first contact and hit Earth and Captain Archer found the Borg? Was that the origin of the Borg?
Yeah.
Did Borg send themselves back in time? Or if you played the Star Trek video game like I have, I'm a nerd. You might have seen.
Tell me.
Oh my God.
Learning more lore for sure.
They basically said that V'ger later on created the Borg. There was this great video game. I think it's called Frontiers, where you start off as Captain Archer and it ends with, what do you call it? The Captain Picard. So it goes through generations. It all ends with this big temporal issue where the Borg and V'ger were at the core of everything. So there was always this internet rumor that V'ger was the creation of Borg. And when she merged with that dude, it became self-aware anyway and said, wait a minute, that's not how we do it, and started assimilating.
That's probably one way to get people to go back and watch Star Trek the motion picture, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It worked for me.
I remember being, what would I have been? 1979 that came out. So I was 6 years old when I saw that.
Oh,
film.
wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was not the right time for me to see that.
Out
of all the Star Trek movies, it is the most boring one out of the lot. But, and it's always sad that the next generation really, that the First Contact was the peak considered by the public. I do like Insurrection. It's always sad, but I'm thrilled to know that Jean-Luc Picard is being dealt with as a character with this show. I absolutely love it.
And there's going to be some other from our favorites, like Geordie LaForge, I'm so told, is going to return.
That's amazing. Yeah, if that's the case. That's amazing. Obviously, we had number one last season, and which was wonderful. We obviously had Data. Now, I did have a problem with they should have done a little bit of CG on him because he looks so different.
Yeah, because he looked very well. I mean,
he's old now, isn't he?
Right, he's 70, I think.
Yeah, so his body, of course, has changed shape over time.
Right.
I love the fact he's in the second season playing Noonien Singh, isn't he?
Yeah, he's back. He's back. I love it.
He's back as the maker.
Brent, I've had the luxury of going to a convention and actually meeting Brent Spiner. That is probably one of the coolest actors I've ever met. That's just so chill. And it was just so nice to speak with him. And he signed my copy of Nemesis.
Brilliant.
Anyway, I love the fact that he's back. And I love the fact that
Q has something, doesn't he?
Yeah, Q's handing him some blue liquid, like I said earlier. What is that? What does it connect to? What is going on? Are they doing some type of, chicken and egg with Data? Is Q the reason why we have Data? Imagine, these are all speculations. I don't have the script anywhere. I'm not hiding it.
No. But sometimes it's more fun to speculate.
So, and this Picard season 2 speculations.
Yeah, there is definitely if you brought Q back and you've got Guinan back, and you've obviously bringing Geordie LaForge, and we've got Brett Spiner in a different, role. Mm-hmm. This is big stuff in the overall sense of the show. Right. I think we're dealing with some real defining Star Trek stuff in this season. Well, that's my hope anyway.
Well, yeah, it's got to.
Yeah, it's got to. Well, didn't they announce earlier in the week that they're doing another season? But
that's it. They did it's 3 and done. Just like how they do with Doctor Who. You get 3 seasons as your Doctor series, and then you're done. And Picard.
I think Star Trek should definitely adopt that. I don't think they need to do 7 and 7 anymore. I think a good reason not to go 7 seasons too is the type of storytelling they're doing with these shows. Because if you remember, it's very episodic. Next gen and all that. Now it's not. We have season-long arcs, season-long stories. We only ever had really a little bit of that in the old shows. Now it seems to be the primary thing is that You don't
It's
have
like
a lot of standalone episodes.
Right. It's a continuous film. I mean, Discovery in this season did a couple of standalone, but it always tied into the main loop. But I've heard, I don't know how true this is, but I've heard that Strange New World is going to go on the old episodic route.
Oh, please do. I must admit, I'm just a bit of a fan of it because I really do like the mystery of every week and solving that mystery within 45 minutes, whatever it is.
Right.
And that's just because I've probably been programmed to enjoy that.
Right.
But yeah, I'd like them to mix them up. I think the most exciting thing about whoever's handling was, I don't really want to say Kurtzman's responsible for everything. No. I suppose I've got to give him a heads up. That, you know, that they are trying different things in the Star Trek realm now. You know what I mean? Like they're, you know, but what I do want to see, I'll be honest with you, and I hope this series spins off of that. I want to see Enterprise F or G or H with a whole new crew, with a whole new set of adventures. That's ultimately what I want out of Star Trek currently.
So the showrunner for Discovery is Michel Perdis, and I think he is a French Canadian, and he's fantastic. I love what he's done with Discovery, but I totally agree with you. I want an Enterprise season, and I want Worf as captain of the Enterprise, because somewhere along the line they've mentioned, I don't know if it was in Discovery or if it was in Picard season 1, but they discussed that Captain Worf of the Enterprise. So, and if you're playing Star Trek Online, there is the Enterprise F is currently commanded by an Andorian.
Okay.
So so that is pretty interesting tidbit. So if they wanted to do F with an Andorian, why not get Jeffrey Combs? He's fantastic as an Andorian. Oh my God, that would be so. He played Sharan.
He is great, but I mean, like for me, he will always stand out as
Weyoun.
Oh, Weyoun.
Yeah.
Weyoun, what a Deep Space Nine, guys. If you know, a lot of Trekkies out there sometimes, oh yeah, I love Next Generation original series. If you haven't spent the time watching Deep Space Nine, you've got to. There's so much gold. There's so much complexity.
Yes.
It's just an unbelievable show.
Right.
And, you know, the first couple of seasons, good, had a really strong start, kind of dips off a bit. But the moment season 3 kicks off.
Season 3 on.
Whoa.
Yeah. But the other thing that I'm most excited about is, besides the little ship that they have in Picard, because I really think it's a fun ship and it carries the central cast well, even though that there's no official Starfleet ship centered around the show. And they kind of did like a copy paste thing with minor details when the Shinjo came to save Picard at the end of season 1, Riker.
Yeah.
But it would be nice if, now that this is going to be more in the vein of what's going on in the larger workings of Starfleet, if they actually had Picard just take one of the ships. Well, I'm an ex, because I think at one point he was Admiral Picard, so you know, Admiral's preference. You know, that would be cool 100%. To
seeing him sit in the captain's chair.
Yes, that's what's missing.
We all in that one. We do want to see him go engage.
Yes,
we get it once.
We got it once, but then the guy who's actually the commander of the ship was like, "Oh, that's my chair."
That's right.
Yeah.
But for him to have that opportunity, you know,
would be great.
What about I've forgotten now. You're gonna have to remind me. Beverly Crusher.
Yeah, Dr. Crusher hasn't.
She died, correct? Or is she still around?
No, she's still around as far as I know.
So she was, because I know they got divorced and all that type of thing. But that's really the only reference, isn't there? There's no real. Yeah. I'd like to see that.
And Wesley, because you know he runs a show on Paramount Plus called The Ready Room.
Yeah.
And you know, he could come out for one, and you know, because he did show up in Nemesis. He didn't have a speaking role, but he was there drinking something. And
at the end of the table, he was actually in a deleted scene. So I did film a really great scene with him and Picard and Data, I believe, but it got deleted.
Oh, it's stupid. Maybe you were right. Maybe you were right. But it would be really cool to have Wesley show up in this, or even the 3rd season, and they could say, "Shut up, Wesley," one more time. But but that would be the only characters left that haven't been on screen, I believe, in the new Picard series.
I think Wesley Crusher would be a really good addition because I think it ties into Picard's growth as a human. Because even in season 1, his ability to deal with young people and learn. I mean, a lot of that, what he failed to do with Wesley correctly, and he made mistakes, he was able to do with that young Romulan early on, when he was spending a lot of time with him as a kid. And I do think there are some storylines that need to be, there's some internal issues between, I think, Picard himself and his relationship with Wesley that I would really love to see come back.
Yeah, I mean, these 3 seasons should tie up some loose ends that we never got an answer to. And since this is seeming to do so with the Guinan and Q standoff, it would be nice if season 3 maybe tied it up with Worf and Wesley and Beverly. That would be great. Because I mean, we tied it up with Riker very well, with Data. Data got his tie up because, if the end of Nemesis, they downloaded Data's memory into B4, hoping that it would activate B4 to run properly, which it didn't unless you're a comic reader, which it did. So there's that little bit of.
Look, I tend to think that B4 was like,
your prototype.
A lesser version. So it makes sense to me that he wouldn't just download the data and be Data.
Right.
If you know what I mean? Like Like that information, he doesn't have the same kind of
cerebral cortex
circuitry to be able to be. So I think that was there in case the movie made a ton of money and they were going to pump out one more.
Yeah, but it didn't, so they don't. But I'm super excited for this. I don't think that I've been this pumped up for Star Trek since the announcement of Picard itself, because like I said earlier, Star Trek is by far one of my favorite sci-fi series ever, and 100%. I'm always going to support it. I know there's a lot of back and forth with the universe of fandom and pro and con for all of these things, and I'm always going to be pro. I just want to see my hope, my futuristic hope, especially living in this time. It's just getting crazier and crazy. Yeah, I mean, I think you had just told me that it was 120 for those of us in America. It was 125 degrees where you live. Yeah,
up in the northern part of our state as such. We're getting some of the hottest temperatures in the world. The world is changing. We're going through different iterations of viruses with the pandemic. And then
we just got 2 feet of snow where I live.
Around the place. We've got a situation here in Australia where our property prices are going so high that's unattainable. Very close.
That's happening.
Before you had the 2008 crash.
Yeah.
Very similar kind of circumstances. But either way, Star Trek's about hope.
And that's what we want to see, man.
Yeah, it's about working together. It's about discovery. I mean, obvious things. But the most important thing is it celebrates the human intellect.
Right.
And our ability to work together cohesively for something positive.
Right.
Rather than, as we know, we've grew up in and watching movies where the future was always painted as this post-apocalyptic nightmare.
Right.
So the future always, like, as a kid, you're like, oh my God, 2019. I mean, gotta like those flying cars from Blade Runner, but the rest of the place looks horrible.
Right.
I'm like you. Bring on Star Trek Picard season 2.
March 3rd. March 3rd. Yeah, March.
Yeah, 3rd, March 3rd. Sorry.
Yeah,
a month away. How incredible is that?
Can't wait. I get to see my guy, Patrick Stewart, go one last time into the fray of dark space. And
by the way,
so excited.
Just if you move to the side a bit, let's have a look at his uniform. I really like this new upgraded uniforms.
Right.
They seem very, very connected to the next generation type of.
Yeah. Well, that's why. Right. That's why.
Moved away from the grey that they had in the mid-90s.
Right. In the Deep Space Nine thing. Yeah. I think this is going to be the yesterday's Enterprise militarized.
Yeah. Especially right by your ear with the actual, like, the markings, that's very angular, very kind of
militarized.
And you're right, and the way the kind of everything's not as round and smooth. Everything's got angles to it, harsh kind of, which definitely indicates military. If not almost like Germany World War II
Oh boy.
type of uniforms, because that's what they were known as.
Yeah.
By the way, Hugo Boss, everyone's favorite, he designed the Nazi uniforms.
Oh,
Look that one up.
Wow, I didn't even know that. And I work
Did you
in
know
fashion.
that? No, it's well known. It's Hugo
and
Boss.
I work in fashion. That's freaking
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
That's
look
crazy.
that one up.
Yeah, I
But
believe
either
you.
way, that very, I mean, if you could say, I mean, horrible people, but they were pretty great looking uniforms. I mean, if we're being really honest,
Yeah.
they get away the insignia and all that, like horrible thing around it. But
Oh man,
cannot wait. I'm in, and I do believe we may be talking about this show further as it's released, Joe.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There are things working in the works. We are going to go to the sun and we're going to spin around it so that we can change space and time and bring you something very special. And make sure you subscribe to Pop Culture Spread and To Be Seen so you can follow through.
Absolutely.
And
follow these guys.
Yes, follow that guy and follow those guys. And then make sure that you are prepared for what's coming. So
pretty big.
Yeah, whatever God you believe in, have mercy on your soul.
Yeah. We're certainly not going in halfway, put it that way.
No,
if we're going in, we're going in all
We're going all the way in. Yeah, full throttle. And we're engaging.
Absolutely.
And we're going to have a return when the series comes out to discuss the series. And before the series comes out, Jason and I will be sitting and discussing a retrospect of the first season. So be prepared for that. And like we said, be on the lookout. We're going to have it on the socials and it's going to be blasting everywhere. Jace, thank you so much for taking the time and doing this trailer reaction with me. So excited for this season. I can't wait to sit and discuss with you all the happenings of it and the last season, our retrospect, which is forthcoming too.
Oh, thank you, Joe, for having me, mate. As you know, I'm a big Trek fan from the other side of the planet.
Woo!
So it's always a thrill to talk to another Trekkie and delve into one of the greatest bit of entertainment ever created.
All right. Take care, everybody. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to Pop Culture Spread, which is that way when I point. And, of course, To Be Seen. We'll catch you next time.